Part 4 of fact-checking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. from the presidential debate. You guys are loving this series, so I created a playlist on my profile. If you haven't watched part 1 through 3 yet, make sure you go do that. This segment is all about immigration, so I'm gonna roll the clip and then I'm gonna fact check right after.
Kennedy, what would you do about the border?
I would say that on this one, President Trump is more right than President Biden. I think almost everything that President Biden said, I know to be not to be true, including his claim that he was endorsed by the Border Patrol. And the border, there's been at least 7 million people who've come across the border, and they've come across principally, and this is without the gotaways, which are another 2 million. So those are the people who don't go through the gaps in the wall. President Biden, when he became president, ordered a stop on the construction of the wall. That's the problem. There are 27 gaps in the wall, and I stood in Yuma, Arizona between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning, and I watched 300 people come across, and I interviewed half of them. The first 110 came from West Africa. They're young men of military age. The second 110 were from Asia, from Azerbaijan, from Nepal, from Tibet, from Bangladesh. Most of them were from China. None of them, only 2 people the entire night that I interviewed had asylum claims. Only 2 people, and they were both the only people from Latin America, from Colombia and Peru. I think what President Trump is saying, I don't know how many terrorists have come across. I know the Border Patrol is extremely worried about that. And what's happening is not sustainable. President Biden ordered the deconstruction of fences, the censoring systems were taken down. I can't tell you why. The long-distance cameras were taken down. The night lights were taken down. So there was some decision in the administration to open up the border, and then the 2 laws that were changed under President Biden, and this is the day that he came in, the catch and release law, and
Time is up.
So starting off, he said, I think almost everything that President Biden said, I know to be not to be true, including his claim that he was endorsed by the Border Patrol. Kennedy is right that Biden was wrong when he said that he was endorsed by Border Patrol, and during the debate, Border Patrol literally posted and said, to be clear, we never have and never will endorse Biden. And Kennedy said this, he said, the border, there's been at least 7 million people who have come across the border. This is without the gotaways, which are another 2 million, and this is true. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, total border encounters are over 8 million from 2021 till now. So gotaways are just that. They got away from border protection, so it's actually really hard to estimate, but Kennedy said over 2 million, and yeah, the Center for Immigration Studies that report 1.8 million between 21 and 23, and then also the Homeland Security Committee in the House of Representatives, they estimate roughly over 2 million as well. Moving on, Kennedy said this, President Biden, when he became president, ordered a stop on the construction of the wall. And this is true. President Biden's first day in office, he signed a proclamation that says, yep, we're going to stop the construction of the border wall, and he wants to reallocate those funds. And just a fun fact, he's actually in litigation about this right now, the Biden administration, because Congress allocated those funds for the border wall, and the executive branch doesn't get to just reallocate those funds. That's a function of Congress. So that is in the courts right now. So this last one, I'm not actually going to say whether it was true or false because he was running out of time and trying to get something out. So I'm just going to add context and you can kind of go from there. But this is what I think he was getting at. So he said the 2 laws that were changed under President Biden, the day they came in, that catch and release law, and then he was cut off. There's a couple things that President Biden did in terms of immigration. On February 4th, 2021, President Biden issued a memorandum which essentially reinstated catch and release that was revoked under the Trump administration. I'm not going to get into detail about what catch and release is, but if you want that context, let me know and I can do a separate video. And on Biden's first day in office, January 20th, 2021, he signed an executive order that revoked an executive order from Trump that essentially just enforced the immigration policy. Many people see this executive order as what essentially opened up the border. I've had a lot of people ask about where my sources are, so I have them all linked on my website just so you know. I break it down per category. And I really just want to say thank you so much for interacting with my posts and just making this blow up. This is just amazing that so many people want the facts. But again, I appreciate you so much. Let me know your thoughts about all this and make sure you're following me for more.